Hello, Squirrel Tribe. So listen, there are 3 headlines that I want to talk about today. Well, 2 I want to mention and 1 I want to deep dive into. So let me just read you this very first one. One of the first things I saw when I woke up this morning, and my brain said, "Are you kidding me?" There was an expletive in the middle of the "are you" in the "kidding me." According to this breaking news, the Supreme Court temporarily paused an EPA plan to curtail air pollution that drifts across state lines, dealing a blow to President Biden. 3 states challenged the administration's Good Neighbor plan, meant to protect downwind states from harmful emissions. One, it sounds extremely stupid to start off with. I fully understand. How are you going to stop air from going from one place to the next? For those of you who have been around for a while or paid attention to the news a little over a year ago, February 3rd of 2023 to be exact, there was that lovely little train derailment from Norfolk Southern in East Palestine, Ohio, where subsequently they purposefully released chemicals into the ground and then purposefully set those chemicals on fire, resulting in massive plume of smoke. It was literally akin to what Hiroshima looked like. It was absolutely awful, right? And of course, people in surrounding states were complaining about the way their eyes were burning and their throats were burning and there was itching and there was skin issues and whatever else. And the EPA is going, no, you're fine. It's nothing. It's not a big deal. But it does turn out that 16 different states were affected by that one really stupid decision that was made in East Palestine, Ohio. Technically that happened on the derailment was February 3rd. I believe they set fire to basically everything on February 5th, if I'm remembering the date correctly, or February 6th. Either way, 16 states were affected due to friendly air. Basically what it comes down to, air that lifted up and then just did what air does, which is travel left, right, up, down, back, forth, all these different things. It doesn't just stop at a state line. It doesn't get to the edge of Pennsylvania and go, ooh, that's a different state. We should stay over here. Unless, of course, you've been watching the Hunger Games and you remember how they had in the little dome of killing, basically what that was, they had the grid. And so water would hit this wall or air would hit this wall and it would stop. If you ever see anything like that at all in your city or your state where the air or something just stops moving like it's hit a wall, please let me know, because then we've entered a whole new level of what the crap in the United States of America. So the whole thing with the Supreme Court temporarily pausing the EPA's plan to curtail air pollution that drifts across state line, that's crazy to me. I don't know how they're planning on implementing this plan of stopping air, which in itself should be very concerning, how they plan to implement stopping air from crossing state lines. And if it's just about, fining people for air that crosses state lines, again, whole new can of worms, because how do you stop air from traveling? It doesn't make sense at all. Okay, so that was the first one, and I'll deep dive into that one a little bit later. I just saw that headline, and my first thought was, really, this is what we're doing on Thursday? Now, this next one, breaking news again, because everything seems to be breaking news these days. The Supreme Court, again, they're famous lately. The Supreme Court cleared the way, for now, for emergency room abortions in Idaho, despite the state's near total ban on the procedure. A majority of the justices dismissed the case, reinstating a lower court ruling that paused the state's near total abortion ban. Whether you agree with abortion or you do not agree with abortion, there have been, from what I read, more infant deaths since the Roe v. Wade was overturned. There have been more infant deaths between after a year than previously. And they're saying because a lot of these babies should have, which is their wording, not mine, please understand that part, should have been aborted because they had serious deformities or issues that were going to make it impossible for them to live some sort of life at all, right? So they're saying that because of that, now these other states like Idaho are making it so that they can have these emergency room abortions or whatever else is necessary. It's a little different emergency room wise. I'm assuming, because again, I don't have the whole thing in front of me. I'm assuming maybe it has to do with if the mother is in some sort of traumatic accident and ends up in the emergency room. That could be a different thing. But there's other states now talking about the whole, maybe it shouldn't be 100% ban on abortion. So we'll see where that goes. Now, this next one, it's not nearly as dire from the outside looking in as the first 2, in my opinion. But this one is off of CNN. The first 2 were on New York Post, New York Times. And this one here, the nation's largest school district could ban cell phones by January. Now, we're going to look at this from an outside perspective. You hear they're going to ban cell phones, and a lot of people are like, good, these kids and their cell phones and the damn TikTok and, you know, whatever else, always on their phone texting and recording, and it's stupid and they're not paying attention in school. We should ban cell phones. As a mother of a child, I am mentally a child some days, but as a mother of a child who has a cell phone for her protection, takes it to school, leaves it turned on despite school policy, I have an issue with this, and let me explain why. I'm going to read a little bit of this to you from this article because I want you to understand exactly what the problem is, but this will kind of help you understand. So according to this, phone usage during the school day has not only become a distraction, but an addiction. I can agree with that. Phone usage anywhere has become an addiction for numerous people, not just kids in school. So let's be really clear about that. The Chancellor of New York Public Schools, David Banks, has said this in an on-camera interview with WNYW, which I'm guessing is a New York news affiliate. So we recognize the problem and that it is a major issue, Banks said. The Chancellor said he expects a formal announcement to be made as soon as he fine-tunes how to implement a plan that would impact more than 1 million students across nearly 2,000 public schools in the city. Wednesday is the last day of school for the system before the summer break, which is crazy. I'm thinking all the schools are already out. They're saying that technically yesterday, this came out yesterday, was the last day of school in New York. I didn't realize people were still in school this late. But here's the problem. It says New York's decision comes on the heels of the Los Angeles Unified School District moving to ban cell phones in school just last week. So now you have two different states or two different areas who want to get rid of children having cell phones. Let me just go ahead and talk about that from the aspect of these kids don't have cell phones. What happens when there is a school shooter, a stabbing, a emergency, a teacher who loses their mind? If you're banning them from school, look at it from the outside as well, a different perspective. That means they can't even have it in their backpack. All right. That's what they're trying to say. They will not be allowed on school premises. Does that mean they're going to start then going through every student's personal items the second they walk into school? Because that opens up a whole new issue for a lot of people, right? The ability to have some sort of privacy. Girls don't really want some guy rummaging through their purse to see their tampons or their pads. Guys don't really want a female maybe rummaging through their backpack and whatever else and finding condoms or maybe a jock strap or who knows what else. It's going to be an issue of privacy, number one. Number two, if you can't even have them on your person, what happens to that 16, 17, 18-year-old who's driving into school, right? And they get in an accident or something happens or stranded on the side of the road. Now they have no cell phone to make a phone call because we know pay phones, they're dead and gone. They're not coming back anytime soon. A store letting you use their phone a lot of the time isn't really possible either. Most of them are like, no, everybody has cell phones, go use your own thing, right? If you ban cell phones from even being on public school grounds, you're causing issues way outside of your parameter. Maybe as a school you have the ability to say yay or nay to stuff from 8 to 3 or 7 to 3 or whatever the time frame is, but leading up to that and after that, you have no say on what these kids have in their backpack, in their purses, or on their persons to begin with, or in their cars, right? So here's the thing. You ban all these things. And when I say on school property, I am talking about they can't have their phone in their car. What if that's a thing? What if they get caught with a phone in their car? This could be reaching, but you never know, because guess who overreaches? People of power. They overreach a lot, especially when it comes to taking away the freedoms of people, whether it is kids or whatever else. Now, there's one freedom that kids should not be allowed to have, and we've talked about it numerous times, and that will never change in my mind, and that is the freedom of deciding your gender at 7 years old. No freedom of that should be allowed at all to minors. But anyway, not the point. The city or the state of New York trying to ban cell phones because they say the kids aren't paying attention. Maybe do a better job teaching. Maybe, let the parents know that there will be consequences for kids with cell phones out in class or something like that. But banning them from school property is not going to be a good idea. It's not a safe idea, in my opinion, when it comes to these kids trying to get to school, from school, or if there were an issue on school property. Again, it is against the school rules for my child to have a cell phone or an Apple Watch. She's got both. Not because I want her to have a phone so she can play on TikTok or any of that dumb crap. It's because I want to be able to track where she is. Because you know why? Our society sucks. And people suck. And I don't trust people. I trust my daughter. I trust my husband. I trust my immediate family. and we're done. I do not trust the kids in my daughter's class. I don't trust the teachers. I don't trust the police officers. I don't trust the person working at Starbucks. Like, you have to earn trust. I don't trust people, so I need her to have some way to get in touch with me, to be protected. It's also against rules for kids under 15 to have pepper spray. Oh, well, you know what I'm saying? I, as a parent, am going to do what is necessary for my child to be able to get into contact with me, to feel safe, to be able to reach out to authority if necessary. And I think that these states that want to take away the ability for kids or minors to get in touch with people or with authority or record things that are going on maybe in the school system, I think that's shady. That's my personal thought. I think that if you want to be able to keep control of your classroom, you need to be a better teacher. And I know there's going to be teachers out there and get all riled up at that, and I'm sorry, but there's other teachers out there that are going, yes, exactly. I have no problems in my classroom. You have to remember, you're just like in the same situation as a parent. You are a parent, not a friend. You are a teacher, not a friend. You are there to teach these children, not to hold their hands, wipe their ass, coddle them, any of these other things, let them get away with murder. So teach, do the things you're supposed to do. And if the kids are being unruly, kick their little asses out. Plain and simple. If they go to the principal every single day, then parents may start to wake up and realize their kids are doing the wrong thing and the teacher's trying to do the right thing. But taking away an ability for, in my thought process, y'all know how it works over here on SquirrelTribe, taking away the ability to have video proof if something happens, audio proof if something happens, or the ability to reach out for help if something happens, I am not okay with that. And I don't agree with any school board that is okay with that. So that's that. That is all for right now. I got to go into Publix and get some groceries, and I'll be back with more later because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about today. So SquirrelTribe, I love you immensely. Thank you for letting me have this conversation, and I will see you later. Bye.